co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Well, sir, I feel like a slice of butter melting on top of a big old pile of flapjacks. Yeah.
This is the bee's knees. We should be giving this to everybody, sir.
Oh man, it's you could like this movie is. I like this movie. It's too long.
Yeah,
you could easily just like get rid of this entire opening section. But I'm like, oh, but Bill Hader, you know.
Yeah, we do like oddly come back because that ends up being like the home base or whatever. It's like, oh, this is where they grow their weed and all that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah,
like, none of this was necessary.
Yeah, I didn't need the origin story for where they grow the weed.
Yeah, but it's really funny.
Yep.
It's pretty freaking funny, and it's I think I remember. I don't know if I remember it being Bill Hader, but there's definitely a few people in this movie who was like, oh wow, this is like early for them. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so we watched Pineapple Express.
Sure did. Sure did.
Do you gonna do IMDb for this one?
I feel like you'd get angry at me if I did.
I will, but it doesn't stop you before.
All right, fine. I won't do it. Seth Rogen plays a process server who witnesses a murder while he is out trying to serve some more.
You like
for
you
trial.
like service people? Is that
Like a butler?
Like a butler?
And he witnesses a murder, so he runs to the only place he knows. I don't know. Guy knows about crime, his drug dealer, and they both go on the run together to try to avoid retaliation from witnessing this murder. And there you go. That's the movie.
Basically, yeah. Sums it up. Nice. You didn't need no IMDb.
I could have used it. Would have been shorter.
I think it's better off the cuff, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
So do we want to talk, because we talked a little, off air there for a little bit of what are we going to do category-wise? Because it's a roadblock we didn't realize? Or do we want to talk about it later?
This movie can fit, because it's an action comedy,
Yeah.
can fit into our old categories, but I think in the future we're just going to have like 3 categories. We'll just have heroes, the laugh out loud moments of the movie, like our favorites,
Yeah.
and then just like the supporting characters. And we'll put
Yeah.
the most emphasis on the laugh out loud moments because it's a comedy and that's what really matters.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a lot of villains in these these kinds of movies.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't even think about it until you brought it up. I was like, oh, yeah. And then I'm like trying to find other ones where it does fit. And like, well, that's kind of the villain. And then I forget which one you brought up. But you're like, oh, yeah? What's the villain in this one? I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying now.
Well, I brought up Zach and Miri make a porno and Sex and the City in the movie. Like, who's the villain of Sex and the City in the movie?
Solid point. Solid point.
Men? I mean, it's just...
Maybe.
What a character men are. Dopes.
Yeah. But all right, that's fair. Good. I'm glad we're keeping it for this episode at least, so it doesn't completely mess up my scoring for this one.
There you go. So speaking of dope,
Yeah.
let's go with our heroes.
Yeah.
You almost went Seth Rogen with that laugh. I liked it.
I can't even try.
I would.
It's
yeah.
so goofy.
Yeah. So we got Dale Denton, a process server who loves weed and talk radio.
Yes. He wants to have his own talk radio show one day.
Oh, man. Just wait until he discovers podcasts. He'll be so excited.
Right? I guess it wasn't quite a thing quite yet.
No, I think Simmons has just started out. The podfather.
Right. And, I don't think they figured out how to, like, do, like, calls and all that kind of stuff till later, too, in podcasting. Yeah.
And then we got his pot dealer, Saul Silver. Who loves civil engineering.
Civil engineering. So random.
Yeah. I mean, so what was your first impression? What do you feel about these characters overall?
They're fun. They're just so much fun. Like, you could tell they're actually legit friends with each other.
Yeah. No, the chemistry is real.
The chemistry is there. Every time they like fall into these like I like how you do get the gist of like Dale's like, okay, Saul, you're just my dealer, and things are awkward of him wanting to be friends with me, and he says it like right in the beginning too, of the radio shows that he's calling into. Like he thinks it's the worst, so it really sets it up nicely. But you find him throughout the movie, even before he admits that he likes Saul, but like you just see them naturally just go into hanging out, like can't help themselves, have fun together almost.
Yeah,
and I enjoy it. And the banter back and forth is hilarious.
There are a bajillion lines that I would love to go through.
So many.
I'll be they're like as actual characters though. I mean, it's thin. They're playing archetypes.
Yeah, they are. They're both obviously just stoners and potheads, and kind of like
not a lot of layers.
Yeah, they're both just wasting, kind of holding patterns of their lives. Right. And not really liking any kind of real responsibility. The relationship with the high schooler is definitely questionable.
I was really excited to talk to you about this.
I bet you were, because of course it turns into a school system thing.
Well, first off, I love when he's on the phone talking to the talk radio person, and Dale is just like
trying to defend it.
He's like, if I'm 25 and the girl is 18 years old, in society that might look bad. And then she responds like, hey, as long as it's consensual, I think it's consensual.
It's so creepy. It's so creepy and it's so cringe. And
I want to save that scene for later because that's one of the first great scenes in the movie.
But the whole idea and a concept of him being in the school, this adult man, and there's so much wrong here. Like so much wrong.
Originally they were going to have him dating someone who is in business and successful and all that stuff.
Okay.
And they realized, okay, I don't want to. Apparently they didn't want to step on the toes of Shaun of the Dead that had a similar.
Similar
premise.
Kind of relationship stuff. Okay.
Yeah, well, also he kind of basically did that and knocked up. So it's like, well, why don't we change things around?
Yeah.
Which I thought was, it honestly, one of my favorite scenes in the movie there's a couple of my favorite scenes in the movie because of this dynamic, so I'm fine with it.
Right. And I'm guessing you're going to get to side characters with that a bit later.
Probably funniest parts of the movie, like laugh out loud. There's two of them here.
There's a few that I'm going to go with on that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, other than like him loving his grandmother, right? Saul loving his grandmother. And Dale having this, bizarre high school girl relationship. Yeah, that's about it. And that they're stoners. And it's really, if anything, about their friendship. Because Bubby's really like a side character, right? That like barely pops up. I think she's got 2 scenes, right? Yeah. She's talked about. And then I think the girlfriend basically has like maybe 3 scenes that are all pretty quick. There's in the high school, there's the dinner, and then there's a phone call.
2 phone calls.
Two phone calls, sorry. So maybe 4. But they're pretty quick, especially the second phone call. So there's not a whole lot there, right? And not a whole lot of development because like in the end, are we any different with these characters?
Yeah. But the like you said, the chemistry between them is really just the back and forth. I love
it's what makes it.
I love when Saul is explaining like the ancestry of the Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
It's like, my friend, this is like if that Blue Oyster shit met the Afghan Kush I had, and they had a baby, and then meanwhile that crazy Northern Light stuff I had, and the Super Red Especial Snowflake met, and they had a baby. By some miracle, those 2 babies met and fucked. This would be the shit they birthed. Wow. This is the product of baby fucking.
Yeah. God's vagina.
Which, that's a great, that was supposedly, that was Rogan's line. And Franco was like, yeah, I don't think that's funny. You shouldn't say that. And then
which line?
God's vagina.
Oh,
and then
really?
the very next scene, they tried it again. Franco stole the line.
But you know what? Hey, maybe it worked better coming from him. I don't know.
It's fun. Originally, he was Rogan when he wrote this. He wrote this before like Knocked Up and Super Bad. Like this was like the first thing he came up with, and he always imagined himself playing the drug dealer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until they started doing the read through that he's like, oh yeah, Franco would be way better with this part than me.
Yeah, Franco killed this role.
Yeah,
Like,
he's really good.
It's really important to nail that role, and I don't think you could have gotten better there.
It's funny enough, the dude does not smoke weed, so
Yeah.
I think it really helps with him playing like this character, where he just becomes like he's not too annoying,
Right.
you know?
It's easy to find him this lovable doofus kind of deal. I mean, neither of them are bright,
No,
right? They
Especially when they're
both
smoking.
routinely make dumb decisions. Which I guess is like a thing, like you do have a hard time not cheering for them. You know, even within their stupidity. It's great how how stupid they are and how lucky they get time and time again. And how like the bad guys in this movie end up thinking they're geniuses or like these experts.
right.
But yeah.
Well, I love Dale talking about visiting his girlfriend at her school to Saul, and he mimes that he like motorboated her, and Saul's like, "Oh, you sucked her titties?" He's like, "No, I just kissed her. I just did it to make it seem cool."
But he's always accepting of it. It's another cool thing. Like he never like rags on him about it.
No.
He's just like, oh, okay. That's it. He just moves on.
And he's so desperate to be his friend, too. He's like, what, you're going to go? We can go and look at some crazy shit on the internet together.
Yeah. And I love when the two other guys show up and one of them's in jorts. And
oh, right. Yeah.
And then they leave. And then he's just like, man, lingerers, man. Just linger. And then Dale's just like, yeah, right?
Don't get me started on euthanasia. I can go about that all day. I should get out of here. So later on, they're like hiding out in the woods after Dale sees the murder. I love the like, how could Ted know where you are? And like, so I was like, heat-seeking missiles, bloodhounds, foxes, barracudas. I'm kind of flabbergasted when you say weird shit like that. Thank you. Not a compliment.
Not a compliment. Yeah. I think we're like having a hard time not stepping on the comedy hilarity with it because
that's what's so great about these lines that I have right here. Is like this isn't even the best stuff.
Yeah, it's not, but it's pretty awesome.
I love it when they start freaking out in the woods, and they start running and like. Rogan's like, what are you doing? What are you running from? Return to me now!
It's like the part two, though. It's like, I was at the same time, I was like, man, if something had to go, this is another moment that probably could have gone.
Oh, absolutely not. I could not let this one go.
I don't know,
no.
like, because you're right. It's a long movie, and it's unexpectedly long for a comedy.
Yeah.
And so doing it, and I'm like, usually doing it on like a Sunday afternoon kind of thing, and I'm like, man, like getting used to all these short horror movies, and I thought comedies are not supposed to be long either, but here we are. And
we're in that Apatow era.
Uh-oh.
We're in the Apatow era where there is no editing. Like we are releasing 2-hour comedy movies on the rig.
Like, letting it fly.
Damn it.
Fair enough.
I love talk radio. It's so boring, man. The car committed suicide. And then one more Franco line. It's like you're the first guy that I ever sold to that I became friends with. They say, like, don't dip the pen in the company ink. I'm totally glad I dipped in your ink, boy. It's like, while the chemistry is great, and though, like I said, like, and it is great. I don't think that the characters are really a lot, and it's fine. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But for this category, I gave him a 2.5.
Not too far off. I went 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think all your points are completely valid. I just think the chemistry and how good they are at what they're being asked to do. There's so much fun. They're completing their mission. I thought it was hard to go lower than 3.
That's fair. Villain. This will be the only time this season that we talk about villain. Well, properly as a category.
As a category, sure. We'll talk about villains sometimes, but not in its own separate category. Yeah.
So we got Ted Jones.
Ted Jones,
the most boring name ever, played by Gary Cole.
But so much charisma in his limited screen time.
I mean, out of all the like aughts Gary Cole parts, like this is not exactly like the top 5 that I think of.
No, to be honest, when he popped up in this movie, it was kind of like, oh, cool, he's back. Like he's kind of laid lower for a little while. I feel like before that,
he never really gets a lot to do. That's funny. Too. Yeah. It's kind of a bummer. Like, I think the funniest line is like, "Has anyone seen my bigger knife?" is about the only time I laughed at anything he said.
I guess.
And it's not his fault. It's like there's nothing there.
There's not a whole lot there. He gets to fly off the handle a little bit.
Yeah, when he's talking to the Asians.
Right, yeah. I love how they keep referring to them as the Asians.
It's like, Asians, that's not very specific. Indians are technically part of Asia. Like, come on.
Yeah, he's like, that's true, or whatever. Yeah, it was funny. But I think it was great how they just played into that joke of them just being generic, the Asians.
They're actually Koreans. But yeah.
But, I mean, it was funny. And it's... And then you have 2 of the people that are in the Asian gang, right? There's another ones that are very, I feel like, early appearances for them. That played 2 of the foot soldiers there. But Ken Jeong is one.
That was the only one I recognized off the top of my head.
There's the other dude. Oh man, now I'm drawing a blank. And he's got his own like podcast and everything going now too. Let's see if I can find him quick here. Is it Bobby Lee? Yeah, Bobby. I think it's Bobby Lee.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a comedian. He's done stand up. He's been in a bunch of small stuff. He was a Mad TV guy.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I don't really.
But they don't get anything really to do either. I mean, the funniest stuff is in subtitles. So yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. And it was just me noticing like, oh, these are like some people in some small little bit parts here that I probably didn't recognize who they were at this time. But anyway,
you got Rosie Perez playing Carol, the crooked policewoman, and Ted's like right-hand woman.
Yeah, it's funny because like she gets like a decent amount of screen time, and everybody in this movie has a last name almost, but her.
I don't think Red has a last name.
You might be right. Red might be the other one that doesn't have a last
name. But
like
it's like, she doesn't have a lot. Supposedly she convinced them to like cut most of her lines because she would seem more mysterious. I'm like, Rosie, do you know what kind of movie you're in? That is not ideal.
Yeah, and she seems to be interesting. Like Ted also not bright, right?
Yeah,
and then she's like trying to talk him through things, but clearly she's also not that bright. I feel like too. So it's like, oh, blind leading the blind kind of thing. But yeah, I think some of her best stuff would be the car chase and
I want to get into that one more later. But
yeah, totally will. I'm
just
saying.
The movie.
I agree. The car chase for her, and I think the end fight sequence are her 2 real best moments in the movie.
Come on, bitch! I'll twist your balls so tight.
Exactly.
That one cracked me up. Yeah, that was about it for her. I gotta tell you, I would not screw with Rosie Perez.
No.
Rosie
agree.
Perez is like, I don't know, 5'2". I don't know, but she's been to like every main heavyweight fight for the past like 20 years. I know she's picked up some stuff, and she could like definitely knock me out.
I've gotten that impression, probably even from Do the Right Thing. Like I feel like she could throw it out if she wants to.
Yeah. All right, then you got the 2 henchmen hitman.
Yeah, Matheson and who's the other one? Matheson.
Bodlowski.
Such a weird one. I can never quite grasp.
Yeah,
it.
Played by Kevin Corrigan and Craig Robinson.
Yeah.
Who are hunting for Dale and Saul throughout the movie. Them some drugs.
Craig Robinson is killing this part.
He's doing the best he can with the very little he has.
Yeah, because I can see like it's like one of the hangups I have too with Belofsky or whatever. And I kind of put him in side characters, but I get them being villains too. But I guess they're trying to create a little story here, friendships again. It's kind of a friendship plotted movie, right? But like he's really not given anything to do. And
Kevin Corrigan.
Yeah, they give him like a little bit in the end where he's like, I need to go to dinner, right? And he like other than that, he's pretty like I make a facial expression every once in a while. Like he really doesn't have anything. I don't know if this kind of style comedy is not his repertoire or something. I don't know, but it's a little. I know he can do comedy. Like I've seen him do funny stuff. Like he's good, but I really felt like he was definitely like one of the weaker links or something. But I think like what Craig Robinson was given was like what he was able to pull out in some of those lines is so funny. Like I love the part where he's I saw you rip a man's jawbone out. I seen it. I seen it. I love when he's so good.
He sticks his hands into the food at the dinner.
Oh yeah,
still warm. But he puts it like all in there.
There's a lot of great Craig Robinson lines, right? Doesn't he have like another one towards the end where he's like going down the ladder too, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you dead," or something like that.
He's like, yeah. He's like, "Watch your head."
Yeah, he tells him to watch his head right after that.
Yeah, you know you're gonna die, right? Yeah.
What do you got, a Rancor down here?
Fucking Rancor. It's down there, fucking Rancor. Yeah, that was a good line.
It's a great nerdy reference.
But yeah, as far as this guy, I gave it a 1. It's just not very great.
Wow. I went higher. I see your points though, so I could definitely be convinced to go down, but you're probably not gonna like how high I went 3. Like
Wow. All
yeah,
right.
I didn't think they were bad. Like, but you're right. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot, and yeah.
All right, let's move on to my favorite category. Category. There we go. That's the word. Time to suck today's dick. The whole stuff in this school is outstanding. I love it so much.
I love it too. I mean,
your Jeff Goldblum impression almost made me piss my pants. Oh, I wish. What?
Okay. The best part of that is Seth Rogen can just put on some perfect faces.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
You just see his like reaction of like, what now?
Yeah.
And it's perfect. But I even earlier, like as much as the beginning thing is not really necessary or needed, everything Bill Hader is doing is hilarious.
Oh, well, yeah. I was doing this inside supporting character. Yeah.
Private. And he keeps going with the jazz music and
they're jazz cigarettes.
It's so funny. And then I love when it's such a small part. I didn't really call it a side character, so I was just going hilarity. I love when the deep sea diver costume dudes come in and he's just like, whoa. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Everything there I think is hilarious. The only thing is like weird is when what's his name? Dexter Morgan's dad there.
I knew you were gonna say.
Yeah, right. That's what I keep going with.
James Remar.
Yeah. The
one-eyed general. Illegal!
Yeah. The dude who killed the Phantom. Yeah, the weird illegal part was so like, why? What, like,
there was a time when it was totally legal in this country.
I know, but it was just like why that choice to deliver that line in that way was weird to me.
Well, you'd have to watch the Reefer Madness to really get it, but they're all just riffing off of that, and it's like the absurdity of like how weed was treated.
Right? Yeah, totally. I get that. It just was like a comparatively.
But let's get back to the high school.
Yeah. Okay. The high. How disturbing is this adult man making out with this high school girl in the hallway?
I heard it. I wish I didn't, but I heard it.
Yeah. It starts off well, but then you're like, oh, don't make the teacher like this. Like,
Joe Latrulio as the teacher is so good.
I mean, he's great, and he always can deliver this performance, and he's awesome. But it's so troubling. like no, you are totally the problem here, adult man. Like, and I thought it was funny. I don't see a visitor badge. Like, yep, that's a good point. Like, you should not be here. This is scary.
But this is such like a proto Charles Boyle type character where he's like looks up to one of the students, like Clark.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Clark's here. Clark, hey man, how's it going?
Oh, so cringy. So cringy. But the best stuff is definitely Seth Rogen's facial expressions and stuff. Especially,
time to suck today's dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, suck it.
Especially on the piss one. It's so funny.
The next best part is the fight at Red's house for me.
Okay.
Did you have something before that? You want to get into first?
No, I'm sorry. I just saw another moment from the beginning part that I liked.
Oh, okay. You want to go back to Bill Hader?
I'm sorry. Bill Hader just going, "You're a dick in my mouth," and he starts doing the blowjob stuff, and the guy just goes, "That's inappropriate," and then he just goes back, "Fuck you."
All right. Well, fine. I'll go into. I haven't been supporting characters since he basically has a whole scene to himself. But I'll get into my favorite Bill Hader part. It was like, besides the opening line, which I already did at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what a fucking problem I have with your dog and pony act you call a military? Here it is. Number 1, lots of dudes. Where are the boobies?
Yeah.
All right. Now back to this.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I have basically the same parts. Maybe pee my pants, face reactions, suck today's dick. And then after that, I go to him with Saul is what I have after that.
All right, we kind of riffed on that already in the heroes.
Yeah, euthanasia and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I love the fight at Red's house. Like, this is like what so good. Red spitting in Saul's face and Saul screams like, "Oh, herpes!"
Right, because there's a great exchange where it's like, "What happened to your face?"
Yeah, he's clearly got his ass kicked. He's been crying.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Oh, I have herpes and I've been crying about it." You have herpes? Yes, I'm disgusting. I'm a disgusting person.
Saul completely buys it the whole time. It's really funny.
Yeah. And then Red starts beating Saul with a dustbuster.
Yeah.
and then Red starts smashing Saul's nuts with his foot and quoting Gladiator, "What we do in this life echoes in eternity." Dale jumps Red and gets away from Saul, and Saul screams in pain like, "My taint." I love that shit. Red after Red and Saul break into the bathroom, and they got the door, Dale's on top of him with the door in between them, and Red screams time out.
Yeah.
And then they oh, time out. Yeah. And then Dale's like, time in, and he just pushes him away and gets out of there. Red calling Dale Mr. Wiggles. Where do you think you're going, Mr. Wiggles? And again, Dale's trying I'm done with this. Let's talk. Let's try words. Use words.
Yeah, is that when he gets thrown into the wall?
Yeah.
And then Dale's like, too much?
Yeah.
Because he clearly knocked him out.
It's a really well staged fight scene, and it's actually really funny.
And it's pretty intense too. They really do seem to throw each other around. There is one part earlier we didn't mention that I laughed out loud on.
Go ahead.
Was after he witnesses the murder, which was just funny to see him banging into both cars and panicking and driving away and all that kind of stuff. And who the fuck is that kind of deal? But then he shows up to Saul's and he's telling him everything and panicking, and then he goes and he throws up. And he's like, Saul's like, "You threw up on my printer."
It's like, chicken fries.
Yes. And that made me, so I laughed out loud when he with the line about "you threw up on my printer," and then I laughed again about the chicken fries again. Yeah. It was funny.
All right, so the next is probably my favorite scene in the movie. The next one I want to highlight.
Okay.
The dinner.
Oh yeah, the dinner is so funny.
And just the lead up, Ed Begley Jr.
is great.
Made me laugh harder than anyone else in this movie. And he just does his I don't know, his most I drive a Dodge Stratus energy is in this scene.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you guys can wait as long as you want, but 1 minute from right now, I'm going to start eating some food. And you can call it rude. You can call it whatever you want. You can be all polite with your clean plates, but I'm going to be eating some food. And I'm going to go in the other room and eat it and check my email because I'm done.
Yeah.
And the way he delivers it, too, is like, oh, my God, this is perfect. And then it all just gets in funnier from there because eventually, like, Dale comes in and he's like, and the dad is like, you're all dirty and bleeding. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm here for dinner.
Yeah. He just keeps repeating it, basically.
And then he's like, I'm done. I'm going to get my gun. And he's like,
yeah.
Your gun? His gun? Why would he bear arms?
What, did we already pass the part with, are you high? And then the mom's like, you are high as a fucking kite.
Yeah.
I love the part a little bit later when they're getting in the car.
Oh, right before that, though, I just want to say, you assholes do exactly as I say, or I will fuck you in the street. No! Don't do that! Don't fuck us anywhere!
Yeah. That is a good one.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I love when they all like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. They all hop in the car. And then everybody just get the fuck out of the car. I can't believe you even think that was an option.
He's like, oh, you're right. That makes sense. Gotta get.
Yeah. And then he's like,
we're safe. Like, well, get the fuck out of my car. Oh, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he's like, fuck off, loser. And then he goes, Angie, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God. It's like one after another line from him.
Yeah, Ed Begley Jr., biggest laugh in the movie for me. Just outstanding in this small scene.
We're going to have to make the comedy season explicit.
It's only R-rated comedy, so
I know,
yes.
We're just dropping F-bombs in this episode, so yeah.
Oh well. The next is the chase.
Oh, it's so good.
Dale gets arrested by the school cop for selling weed to kids.
Yeah. Another part with the kids dancing, not necessary.
I was thinking the same thing. Like
this.
we could have cut all of this and just like had the cop arrest him for whatever. Like I don't know. Well, he was wanted. There was an APB or what? Someone could have said his name and they would arrest him or something.
Yeah.
Would have saved some time. But it's fun watching middle school children be lewd. You know?
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is like his
Who the fuck is
inspiration
Chachi?
for Good Boys later. You know,
I enjoyed Good Boys. Good Boys is good.
Good Boys was fun. Yeah.
So Dale gets arrested and Saul breaks him out by intentionally getting hit by a car. By the cop car as Dale's being driven away. And he spills the slushies all over the windshield.
Yeah, it's like, no, stop it, you idiot. Like, I'm being, like, because she starts listening to him and, like,
believing him,
like, I'm cool, I'm gonna get out of this finally. And that's, of course, when he steps in to do this. But then it clearly, what's her name shows up.
Carol.
Carol shows up, and then so it immediately turns into, do that, like, let's get away. So it's like it's a weird twist of like, you're an idiot to, let's go, which seems to be a lot throughout the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
Wrestling with does he like him as a friend or not? But yeah,
I love like. Saul's complaining he can't see because all the slushies are all over the window, and Dale's like, use the wipers! He's like, they don't work, but he's actually like flipping the directional instead of the wipers.
Kick out the window, isn't that what they do? Oh, my groin!
Yeah, he puts a hole through the fucking windshield. And he gets stuck in there. It's like, get it out! I think I'm stuck. Oh fuck! I think I pulled my groin.
And he's just driving with his foot out the front window.
And Dale's like, put it into maximum overdrive. And like, as a Stephen King fan, I especially appreciated that.
Yeah.
And then like his all commentary from the backseat, he's like, danger, trees, tree, squirrel.
Yeah.
And then Saul jamming on the brakes, thinking like Carol will zoom by, but she just stops with him.
I thought they'd go by. Why would you think that?
And then Carol shooting the random guy by accident. His standby. Sorry! And then she keeps going.
You'd think too they would make some kind of a line where you should slightly understand Saul there, because like that works in every movie. But they don't quite make that reference. But like, I guess an audience member, you get it. But
yeah, no, you always get it. They never say it out loud like that. But
right.
You know, there's a scene later on, like when they're in the gunfight at the end of the movie, where like they run out of bullets and they just look and there's another gun on the wall with more bullets. Like, oh, cool.
Oh yeah. I think it's like
on.
Seth Rogen like looks behind him. There's another machine gun. Like,
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Franco really fucking killed it with this one. He's like, when they get into a fight, and it's like, I only sell weed for my, what was it called? My bubby.
Bubby.
And he's like, oh, I bet she's really proud of you. She is really proud of me. And I'm going to become something, man. As soon as she dies, I'm going to design septic tanks for playgrounds. Little kids can take shits.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
It's amazing how well he did in this role.
And then, I honestly, you could have cut, like, you could easily cut the Angie character out of the whole movie.
Yeah, really could.
You don't really need any of it, but we would have lost the dinner scene.
Yep.
And I would have lost the breakup scene on the phone, which killed me.
I think the second one.
Yes, that's the one.
The second call is better.
Yeah, when he's calling and crying, confessing his love, and she says it back, and she's like, she wants to marry him. And Dale's reaction is like,
I made a mistake.
I made a mistake. I'm just processing that last bit. You want to? Oh, fuck.
You're really immature and not responsible. Like, I am a horrible person. Like, you should want nothing to do with me. That you're willing to marry me?
You don't see what a fuck up I am? I'm in no shape to be dated by anyone. Then they fight about who is more immature, and he's like, you know what? I lost my virginity when I was 14 years old. Really? How many girls have you even slept with? Like 2.5? 2.5? What is a half? Your hand? That doesn't count. No, it was the tip where I dipped a ball in. I can't remember why. I just remember thinking this doesn't count as a full point. If I said 3, I'd feel like a liar. I don't know why I was drunk. Just incredible stuff.
It's funny, yeah. It was the most fun she got to be, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one I wanted that really got me is when Dale goes back to Red's house to convince him to help him save Saul. Yeah. And the twice shot Red is like wedged in between the toilet and the tub with a bowl of noodles and a couple of empty wine coolers on the toilet. And like a knife in his hand.
I did a note on that too. 2 wine coolers and that.
A bowl of noodles, yeah.
What a weird combo.
And Red isn't really interested in helping. He's ready to die and be reincarnated like a hermit crab moving on to his next shell.
Yeah.
And Dale's like, except if you're a dick your whole life, your next shell will be made of shit. If you're an asshole, you're going to come back as a cockroach or a worm or a fucking anal bead, okay?
Yeah, and then he's like...
If you're a man and you act heroic, you'll come back as an eagle. You'll come back as a dragon. You'll come back as Jude Law.
I love the Jude Law part.
Yeah.
And I love he's like, so like, what is it?
What would you rather be?
And he's like, well, I guess anal bead.
Well, no, it's like maybe the anal bead, depending on who it belongs to. It belongs to me. Then the dragon.
Right,
yeah,
dragon.
the dragon. And those are all my favorite parts.
Also, how they duct tape him.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous, absurd way to duct tape somebody to a chair.
Yeah.
It looks so funny.
Those are all my favorite parts of the movie. The most I laughed out loud. I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to contribute.
Let's see. I don't know, because I guess some of this stuff you're going to put to side characters. So I don't know if you're like trying to save some of it for side characters. Because again, I love when Matheson or whatever like that. Or not, no, it's Blofsky. No, never mind. It was Matheson that was like, I look like the Hamburglar mixed with the Elephant Man. He's talking about his face, which is really funny.
I might act tough, but I got feelings, and you hurt damn near every one of them.
Yeah. Oh, there's, I'm going to kill the fuck out of you. I love that. Yeah, there's the wine coolers one. Oh, I loved the when he tries to break him out, and so now they're locked up together,
right?
And he's like, "I'm gonna rescue you," and they're like doing this humping motion from behind type of stuff, and then Matheson keeps coming in like, "Again, we hear every word." He gives him the play-by-play. You said this, you said that. We know the plan.
1 cough for you to go, 2 coughs for you to go. I know. Stop it.
Yeah. And then they go ahead and continue doing it anyway, but now they're whispering like,
yeah. Well, then Franco just
you,
like,
man. Let me rescue you.
Yeah. I love Franco starts like legitimately coughing. It's like, I want to point this
coughing
out
back and forth to each other to who's supposed to initiate.
I just want to. This is the most accurate weed smoking in the movie. Just the amount of coughing too. Like this is why I stopped smoking weed back in the day. It's like I got so sick and tired of all the coughing that comes with it.
Yeah, especially with the cross joint or whatever.
He rolled them all himself. Him and Evan Goldberg rolled all the joints in this movie, including the crosses.
I love when Blavatsky or whatever randomly he kills Pete to get Dale.
Yeah.
And then I love the reference later. It's like, they killed Pete. Like
he was in the CIA.
Yeah, he's ex-CIA. Yeah. It's like, I love that, like how broken up they are from this random Pete character. So I really appreciated that joke. The stuff with his missing ear and trying to put his ear back on, I thought was really funny. And I love when, like, you know, he's like, does it look gross? It's like, yeah, it looks pretty gross, man. And then he's like complaining about it. He's like, well, hey, Holyfield, you can't even tell. It's like, oh, true.
That's true.
Good point. Like, yeah, true. So I love all that. Let's see. I guess some of the fighting and the action stuff is pretty funny.
It's impressive action. I mean, David Gordon Green was legit director. I mean,
it was pretty funny. There was the 1.2 when they escape one. I think the house or whatever, and then he jumps into the dumpster. It was in the trailer too, but it's still funny. You know, it's like, I think we should stay. Why? Because I'm in the dumpster already.
Yeah,
it's funny. But I think that's about it.
Okay, I gave this category a 4.5.
Where was the section? Oops. I gave it a 4.
Okay, well, look at that.
It kind of evens out because I gave a little extra. So
yeah.
Yep.
And then supporting characters, and this is where I talked about Hader.
This is where I have Red, Blavatsky, Madison, Ed Beatty Jr., and Angie in this category.
Just Hader. I shouted out James Remar, and then pretty much just all Red after that. King of the movie is Danny McBride as Red. He's my favorite part.
So you now understand. It's my cat's birthday today.
Do you know what today is? I don't know. Tuesday? No. It's my cat's birthday. I don't see a cat in here. Did we accidentally let it out? No, because it died 3 months ago. So now who's the funny guy? Don't worry, bro. Your cat's going to heaven. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he went to heaven. He was a little fucker. He could have gone to hell.
He's just icing the cake and everything with it. And then when they're like, knocking him out, and he says it again. It's my cat's birthday today. I love it.
You see this? There's no hair underneath here, bro. What's the significance of that? It means I'm aerodynamic when I fight. I can take danger.
That's another great line. I have that one written down.
God damn, I love McBride.
What's I'm trying to remember because I probably have to scroll too much to find it. What's the day glow?
The car.
He comes in to save the day and he runs over Matheson with his day glow and he's like something like, "Don't fuck with the day glow, motherfucker," or something like that. It's amazing.
You shot me in the stomach. How could you do that? I'm going to die now, probably. Man, I had you over for dinner. Fish tacos. This how you do me? And then Corrigan just shoots him again.
I love how he's like, how is he not dead yet type of stuff. And
yeah, he gets shot like 10 times in this movie. It's incredible.
And the whole end part too, where they're in the diner getting food. And he's like, yeah, I really should probably go to a hospital soon. Like, I've lost a lot of blood. And then he like clearly just passes out. And they're like worried he's dead.
He's like, don't. And then he wakes up. He's like, don't worry, it's not a sleepover. We're not gonna put our dicks in your mouth. And then the iconic line, Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers. And they cocks a gun. Thug life. Thug life.
Yep.
Outstanding.
It is great. He's so funny in this role. I also had Blavatsky, Mattinson. Again, Mattinson I thought was great. And Ed Beatty Jr.'s character was great.
Ed Beatty Jr. is amazing.
So that's what I all put in side characters. So I was pretty pleased by the side characters. Some of them, again, like, Angie, really didn't have much to do there. Only really had like one kind of funny part, and like Blofsky had a whole hard time finding his place inside characters.
Well, this is Red's category to shine.
It is Red's character. Yeah, he. It's amazing how he keeps popping up and not dying. And
this is how Danny McBride got to finally got pushed through into the mainstream, and he had been in some big stuff before that. He was already up in the air and all that stuff.
Yeah, more indier and smaller bits and stuff like that.
But this is where he hooked up with David Gordon Green, and they did like Eastbound and Down after this and all that. Yeah,
and I think he does Tropic Thunder in the same year.
He does. Yeah, he's in Tropic Thunder too.
Mother Nature pissed her pantsuit. Yeah. Which is another like little small bit part, but yeah, you're right. This is kind of like his year really launching out.
Yeah. So what'd you give supporting characters?
3.
I gave it a 4.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I gave it a final score of 13.
12 for me.
Okay. So I went a little higher. Okay. That's not too bad.
No. So this movie supposedly had a budget of $27 million and a worldwide gross of $101 million. It's the number 1 weed movie of all time.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, right? Because I feel like Half Baked was more of a bigger thing after the fact, right?
Yeah. It definitely never made $100 million.
Yeah, no.
Debuted at number 2 at the box office, losing to The Dark Knight in its second weekend.
That's tough.
That's
uphill.
And beat out The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor in its third weekend. And the Sisterhood.
That's the third one, right? Is that Mummy 3?
That's Mummy 3.
Oh yeah.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2 in its first weekend, and Step Brothers in its fourth weekend of release.
Great movie.
We'll go over that one later.
Yeah, we will.
But that's all I have because I kind of put in like my little trivia stuff throughout the episode.
Yeah. Fair enough. So it's been a while, and I know it had like a you're fine. They had like a little syndication run, probably where it was on Comedy Central or something for a while, but I don't think I really rewatched or revisited this one enough, and it's probably because of the length. To be honest, it is just too dang long.
It is.
But it's kind of hard to not laugh at this movie. Like
when it's hitting great, but there's some dead parts where it's just like, when they're wandering in the woods and playing leapfrog and stuff like that. Like, we don't need this. Like, we could have shaved 10 minutes off pretty easily, and we would have still had a.
They're trying to show the friend bonding thing, which I get. Like, but you could have reduced it at least, like stick to when they were fighting with sticks or something, and not all of it or whatever. There's definitely some ways they could have trimmed, but it's still pretty good time. Like, I think it's still going to end up pretty high on our list this season, to be honest.
We shall see. I don't know.
Yeah, it's still a lot there.
So
how many episodes are we going to end up having here? Did we
I think it was like 21, I think.
Okay, so it's about average. Okay. All right, so I guess it's my pick.
Yep.
All right, so I struggled a little bit with this one, but I didn't want to go with of course I want to save some of our expected high ones for later, and maybe probably go in with something that's not going to be good.
You're already reserving for, is it going to be Step Brothers, the last episode of the season?
If I'll let you decide what it is, okay? I did it the last 2 seasons, kind of dictated what the last episode is going to be. I'll let you dictate that. But if it was my pick, yes, it probably would be Step Brothers. I love that movie to death. But no, I kind of wanted to get maybe some of the bad ones out of the way. And there's one that I think is supposed to be, I've never seen it too, so I kind of want to go with that. So I've not seen this movie before. I've heard really bad things, but
good.
There's so much about it that I'm really curious about, though, as well. So my pick is War Inc.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have seen that.
Have you? I've never seen it. I've not seen it.
It's not Grosse Pointe Blank.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things I was always curious about, because I always heard it was like almost an unofficial sequel.
It is an unofficial sequel
of Grosse Pointe Blank, and I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love John Cusack, and so I was curious. But yeah, I've heard real bad things.
The magic just isn't there a second time. Like, it's not. Yeah. It's what's watchable, but it's just not the same.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to try to judge it separate from Grosse Pointe Blank, which is just
good luck.
Epic, great movie. So that's gonna be hard to do, but I'm gonna try, man. I don't know. I kind of want to make sure we even things out too. We started off strong, I think. So, yeah. So I'm gonna go with this, and we'll see.
Okay.
Because a lot of these, I think, I think in our first 2 seasons, there was definitely a good amount that I've never seen before. And this season being kind of later, being kind of borderline, end of college, being adults almost in this phase. I've seen a lot of these movies.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, so I've definitely seen a lot. Maybe I haven't seen them in a long time, but I've definitely seen a lot of these movies. So this was one of the few ones I haven't seen. So that was another part of it.
Yeah, I'm looking through. I'm thinking, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 movies I haven't seen out of like the 23 that we're doing this season.
I think I'm about the same. Maybe 6.
Right.
It's about this. It's about the same. Yeah.
Well, this movie is available for free on Freevee and Peacock.
Although you also say /Pluto.
Oh, and Pluto, apparently.
Yeah. I got Peacock. I got the cock, so I'll watch
I also have the cock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Why not?
All right.
We'll see. Hopefully it won't be as long. We'll see. I don't know.
It's slightly shorter, hour 47.
Okay, only slightly. All right. Okay, fair enough. Whatever. Should be a fun season. I'm excited.
Yep.
Starting strong. All right, you got anything?
Nope.
That is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bro Show podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Time to suck today's dick.